Hello, you lovely infinite beings right onto your path of exploring the infinite. Thank you for tuning in today's video, in which I'm going to be telling you about three major key points that are depleting your happiness. I'm going to be telling you about three major techniques that you can apply at this very moment in order for you to let go of much of that pain you're experiencing, to let go of much of the suffering and misery you're unnecessarily experiencing. Essentially, those things you're doing are actually overwhelming. They're making you carry an excess package, an excess of burden unnecessarily. And when I say pain, the way I look at pain here, the way I'm addressing pain here is in two perspectives. One is obviously being the pain of a painful experience, the pain of sadness, a sad experience, a major accident, a major loss to your ego or to yourself, a major illness, losses such as monetary loss, a loss of a loved one, a breakup in a relationship, and so on. And the second image of pain that I'm addressing here is the one of unfulfilled potential, the one of being the pain that's caused by being demotivated to actually work on your purpose, the pain that's caused by knowing that your worth could be this much, but due to your reluctancy and demotivation, you're actually only able to be here. Because those things, those three major key points, are actually depleting you of your energy and willpower to work on anything. They're draining your mental well-being and your psyche. Now, the first key point that is actually contributing to your pain is attachment, is unnecessary identification. So what you need to do is to let go of this attachment, is to stop identifying with unnecessary things, with meaningless things, and even be selective with what you identified with in meaningful things. Because essentially what identifying with, or what attachment is that you're assigning a specific value in this thing. And those attachments, those identifications could be with objects, with your house, with your furniture, with your any object you own, or even with people and the emotions those people are experiencing. You can find yourself harboring this overwhelming negativity unnecessarily just because you're attaching value in those people or those things. Because what you're doing essentially here is that you're letting go of some of your energy into these things, is that you're adding energy and value into those things. It's like this is your energetic sphere, and you're just extending a connecting thread in this direction and a connecting thread in this direction, and then all over your field, all over your energy is unnecessary and meaningless connection threads, and that's depleting you of your energy center. Just imagine the amount of potential, the amount of unclaimed potential that could be existing in your life if you had all this energy centered onto you and onto a very few single point focuses, instead of just throwing all of your value and all of your attachment and energy in all kind of directions. And what this unnecessary attachment and value you're assigning is doing to you is that it's making you feel as if you're choked. There's you're always almost overwhelmed. You're almost feeling laid back, or going through some negative thoughts, or feeling unwilling to pursue your purpose or dreams, because there's essentially more in your energetic vortex, more in your energetic field than you can actually spend. Because there's an extent, depending on your frequency, depending on your energy, there's an amount that you can spend and expend on things in your life. On you can, if you want to focus all of this energy into one thing, into a business, for example. Those are, for example, the billionaires. They just focus their entirety to this one thing they're working on, and it becomes extremely successful. And so when you're extending it, and when you're just throwing it all over the place, you're depleting yourself of lots of the potential. And what's happening here is that thing or that person is going through bad experience, or you lose that kind of object, or you lose that kind of piece of furniture that you're identified with for some reason, you start feeling even more pain. But that's not just all. Even before you lose that person, or even before that person you're identified with is going through their own sad or painful experience, it's already on your energy, it's already extended from your energy. You left threads with that person, and you left threads with this thing of threads of energy, and so you're already aligned with pain. You're already not ready for to be upgraded in the next level in your on your life into this 3D reality, because energy and this conscious energy and your higher self, they know that there is too much on your plate right now, that you cannot be upgraded and follow up through with this upgrade. Now, moving on to the second major key point that's contributing to your pain, that's contributing to your unfulfilled potential, and the second technique that you can actually apply in order to decrease this pain. And hear me out on this one, because it might come out as a little bit edgy or controversial, but you're gonna understand why just in a moment. And because that thing is that you need to stop wishing for more than what you know you can commit to. Now, and the reason it's controversial, it might sound edgy, is because you might hear it everywhere with teachers or people saying that you wish for as much as possible that you can imagine, wish for everything, and just keep wishing, and it will eventually manifest. Don't depreciate your value, don't depreciate your dreams, because if you maintain this long enough, they're gonna manifest. And that's of course basing on the law of attraction and manifestation. Now, that's a yes and a no, because if you want to base it on the law of attraction, here they're first failing to address one major point, is that whether you're ready to claim it when it presents yourself or not. But even if you want to base it on the law of attraction, because essentially if you maintain a thought long enough, and you need to apply devotion in order for it to manifest, without being committed to working, without being investing effort and energy into this thing. You need to apply devotion in order for the law of attraction to get it to you magically, in order for the universe to manifest it into your 3D reality magically. And devotion is committing yourself to an understanding that there is much more higher than your ego, that there's much more to experience outside this 3D reality. Basically, it could be something as simple as walking through nature, walking through the forests, just by intentionally looking at the grandiose amazement of this nature, of the trees, of the plants. You're unconsciously or even consciously, you're straying away from your ego a bit by bit. So basically anything that takes you away from the ego and more to connecting with your truth, more to connecting with your higher self, essentially the more you abandon the ego, the more you're gonna be connecting to your higher infinite self, to your higher infinite truth, to your source energy. So, just by envisioning and feeling this grandiose nature of the trees, and being immersed and feeling that it's too magical, it's too magnificent, that could be a form of devotion. Of course, there's always meditation, there's always any single point focus of understanding that there is much more than what my ego is, than what this 3D reality is. Anything that takes you away from the ego, that takes you away from the 3D and the mundane, is basically an act of devotion. And so if you apply it long enough, very intensely, depending on what you're trying to attract, you might end up creating what you're wishing for in your reality. However, this is a whole different topic, because I'm taking devotion out of the equation right here. And so it takes us back to the main key point of this, the second key point, and it is, do not wish for more than what you can commit to. Do not wish for more than what you're willing to invest your effort and energy into. And the reason that is because, my friends, this reality, the universe, the energy, it all works in a very non-linear, mysterious way. It works in a way that to us in this 3D reality is very unconceivable. And the reason I'm saying this is because, for example, creating your own reality, I've mentioned this thing a few times before. I mentioned that you should not wish for more than what you can work on a few times in a few of my videos before that, which I'm gonna be leaving a link somewhere up here if you're interested to know. When I said how to turn darkness into your light portal, how to actually use darkness to take yourself to the next life upgrade, to unlock that unfulfilled potential, or just explaining the law of attraction and manifestation and how it works. It gives you an idea, more detail on why this all works in a mysterious way. And the reason being is that, for example, I'm gonna try and put it in the simplest and most basic form I can. And that goes like, now imagine you're wishing so deeply into something to manifest into your life. You're feeling that you're internally and energetically and emotionally aligned and resonant with some kind of truth. You feel yourself being called on by some kind of purpose. That means you're internally resonant and aligned with this kind of reality. But you're not actually doing anything in the physical action to align yourself with this reality you've internally aligned with. You're not, or even worse, you could perhaps be doing the exact opposite. Let's assume that this dream life that you're envisioning, or that purpose that you feel yourself being called on to, is something along the lines of living a zen life, a peaceful life, that's a happy life, that's very low perhaps on dopamine releasing activities, that's very low on entertainment, that's very low on negativity and dramas and these kind of things. Or perhaps it's a life of healthy eating, it's a life of being self-sufficient and self-sustainable and so on. But what you're doing in action at this moment is that you're overly indulging in pleasurable experiences, in dopamine releasing experiences, and you're overly indulging in entertainment, you're binge watching, you're binge eating junk food. Then that's the exact opposite of what you're truly wishing for. That's the exact opposite of what you feel aligned with on the inside, and that's through your higher self. So what happens here is that you truly, what you're wishing for is a third reality, not the first one that you feel internally aligned to, not the second one that you're actually manifesting in terms of actions, but rather a third reality. It's as if you're calling for help to your to your higher self, to your infinite source energy, in order for it to manifest some kind of a helping situation in your reality. In order for it, you're calling on it to manifest something that's gonna grab you by force onto this reality you're internally aligned with. And that is what I call a testing ground. This is like a testing area that's manifested by your higher self, and that's why oftentimes even a crisis could be something that you've manifested and created in your own reality. And I've spoken about this in way more detail in this video up here somewhere. And what happens here is that this testing ground could be very harsh. So if you're de-aligned internally and externally completely, then you're in for a very harsh test. More likely than not, it could not be very harsh, but oftentimes it's when it reaches that point, then it's gonna become when you feel completely aligned inside you with something, but you're not working upon it whatsoever. then it's probably reached the point when a problem, when a very painful experience is going to manifest in your life in order to make you decide, in order for you to realize truly what you want. Do you want to keep on living this life, or do you want to take the highway towards your upgrade? Do you want to give up all of these things that are not aligned with your internal reality, or do you want to just keep living this life devoid of connection, devoid of meaning, devoid of purpose, this life in which you're gonna feel that you value way more than where you actually are in this at this point of time? And so this is why you should not actually wish for more than what you can commit for, because the more you're gonna wish for that thing, the more it's actually gonna manifest into your life. Whether you like it or not, we are the ultimate creators of our own reality. So that's why it could be an edgy point, because although you can achieve these things through devotion, you can, even if you're not working on achieving them by spending effort and energy. However, nothing about this whole thing is linear. Nothing about being the creator of your reality is linear. Nothing about spirituality is linear, as I always mention in all of my videos. And that's why you could go back and forth trying to explain something, but in the end, there's still more ways. There is way more than one path could actually lead to the same end point, because this point is a frequency point, and those paths are all frequency points. And so these things are happening as long as if you're taking the path of the similar frequency, then it's going to take you to that point, regardless of how this path looks to us in this 3D reality. Now, the third major key point that I want to mention, the third major technique that you can apply, is to be true and honest to yourself as much as possible. And this one could be very hard to apply, and I understand, I hear you, but as long as you're doing it to the best of your ability, do it until there is nothing more you can do to be more aligned with your truth, nothing more physically, rather to be aligned with your truth. And what I mean by being true and honest to yourself is that you should not be where you want to be, not hang around people that you don't want to hang around, that you don't live in a place that you don't enjoy being at, that you don't live around people that you don't enjoy being around, that you don't really feel like you resonate with these things anymore. Don't keep lying to yourself. Don't keep just living through without being selective with the things you're getting into your life. Don't live a life wishing for something else, for a completely different life, but keep on living in this life that's fallen out of your alignment. Just imagine how it would feel, just imagine how it would look like. And that's actually the perfect image of being the creator of your own reality. Imagine how it would look like to be entirely aligned with yourself, mind, body, and soul. That is thoughts, feelings, actions, and words. To be, if they're all unified, if they're all the same, then you've connected your infinite source to your mind, to yourself, by aligning the feelings and the thoughts. And then you've connected the external, the 3D reality, to what you are, by aligning the thoughts to your actions and words. And that is the ultimate image of being the creator for your own reality. That is being an infinite in this reality. And so as long as you're living through this unwanted events by just to please people, just aimlessly hanging around anyone and at any time without being selective towards your alignment, to not being selective to match your alignment, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna feel entirely drained. You're gonna be completely depleted of your willpower and your truth, because what you're essentially doing here is that you're aligning yourself energetically with a non-intentional life. You're manifesting into this reality that everything should not be according to your intentions. And as long as you're doing this in this 3D reality and imbuing it and releasing it into your energy, into your energetic vortex, then that's what you're aligned with. And in turn, the universe is going to react to this kind of energy by actually giving you nothing that you're aligned with, that's giving you nothing that you're intentionally want. And so that could be adding to your pain so much more, and that could be adding to much of your unfulfilled dreams and potential, my friends. And as long as you're not in tune with your truth, as long as you're not in tune with your alignment, then no matter how much inspiration you've got in you, no matter how much effort and potential you've got in you, you're essentially going to be pouring out of an empty cup, because you've severed that connection. You've severed the connection to your truth, the connection to your infinite self. And therefore, that's why you should actually let go of attachment, let go of unnecessary attachment, stop identifying with what isn't really you. And then, second, you should not ever wish for more than what you can commit to, because essentially it's going to manifest, something is going to manifest. If what you're wishing for is completely different from what you're living through, long enough period of time is going to manifest a third painful reality. And finally, be true and honest to yourself. With that being said, if you enjoy my content, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. My hope is to add value, meaning, and awareness into your life. So, best of blessings.